Nintendo games nowadays are kind of expensive, and the consoles are too. And this can detract you from buying newer consoles and newer games, or even older consoles and older games because of the retro boom that happened. Now though, do not fret, as I am going to teach you how to get cheap games for cheaper. Because here are my tips and tricks to cheaper gaming, what I have been living by for the last 2 years. Firstly, my first trick, and our first trick, is no big companies. By this I mean GameStop for people in the US, and CEX for fellow Brits in the UK, as these companies want nothing but to take your money for crappy products, and it's very expensive for very crappy warranties. That is all you get in CEX compared to anywhere else. A longer warranty. Wow, I got a 2DS for £40. I would have paid £90 in CEX for the warranty as well, making it not worth it. Now, personally, at first, this may seem like a good deal, as these games may break within time, but you've got to think, if they're kept correctly, they'll last forever. So there is no point to having this warranty. And when you're buying games, you're going to know how to keep them anyway. As people who play on consoles and that are normally experienced enough to know how to keep the games.
Then we have our second trick, abusing and scouting local second-hand shops for deals. By abusing, I don't mean haggling or anything, I mean just abusing the fact that it's cheap. But with this, you can get some great deals for cheap. Like how not long ago, Electric got a Switch for £90 and a 2DS for £40 from a second-hand shop, just because Electric spotted the deal. And surprisingly £60 cheaper for the 2DS than CEX, but with the Switch I can fully tell it's not if all the accessories were included, unlike CEX's. Our third tip is asking around or checking around. By this I mean to look within your house, and look within your family and friend groups to check for all consoles that you can use or buy. With this you can start collections to get great games, like if you find a Wii U even on big CEX, you can get Splatoon and Mario 3D Worlds for under £10 as the console fails, and with a Wii controller you can access Wii games. Or even if you find a Wii, where you can get Mario Galaxy with £10, which alone has a lot of pay time per pound, and a DS or 2DS, 3DS, where you can get very cheap games.
Now, tip number 4, I call a boba. Always buy off-brand accessories, as cheaper off-brand accessories allow you to pay less for virtually the exact same without having to worry about compatibility between different brands of controllers, as some of them have switches for different consoles, so you're able to use it as a Switch console at one point and then an Xbox for the other. But also, there is a massive price gap, as a regular Xbox One controller, for example, costs £50 to £60, while an off-brand PowerA controller for the exact same thing costs between £15 and £20 depending on time, as a lot of Amazon deals go on at random points in the year for this controller, basing it off of. And because of this, you can easily save money on basically the exact same product, except sometimes it might not support wirelessness on Switch Joy-Cons, for example. Number 5, a final evaluation. So for this, I'm going to be using the Switch as an example. I'm not going to go through all consoles as it would take too much time, but let's go. Regular Switch costs £260 base console, nothing else. Obviously it's got the dock, charger and Joy-Cons, but nothing extras. Now let's say you want to get a few games for this like you do as soon as you get a new console. Now let's say you get 3 popular games like Mario Odyssey, Smash Bros and Breath of the Wild. Full price, Breath of the Wild is £45, while Odyssey is £38, and Smash Bros is £45, which is approximately £128 or $170 US. And then, altogether, it is about £388 or $530 in total for the Switch with games. Now let's say you buy a second-hand Switch without a dock for £90, because that's how much I bought mine for, so that's my baseline. Then a dock on even somewhere like CEX, for example, because they're the most trusted. I'm sure you can find them cheaper somewhere else. Is £38, which comes with an adapter and a HDMI, which makes the whole setup alone £128, which is the same cost as the games brand new for full price games. Now, let's say you go for the same games, Odyssey, Smash Bros, Breath of the Wild. Odyssey is £28 second hand, Smash Bros is £35 second hand, and Breath of the Wild is £32 second hand. On CEX again, I'm sure you can find them cheaper, but it's for an example reasons. Overall, these total to £105, making a total altogether with Switch games £233 or $310, which is a whole £153 cheaper or $200 cheaper. Now, I know this seems like I'm going through basic knowledge, but it's just for easiness of access to be able to find good sources of deals. But anyway, that's it. Goodbye. See you next time.